Welcome, students, to day 6, lesson 1.6. We will be talking about translations. So a translation is defined by using what's known as a directed line segment. A directed line segment is a vector, so you'll see that term used quite a bit. So you need to take a moment and write that down in your notes. A vector is a directed line segment. So that means that we start at one point and we move in a certain direction. Okay, so if I'm moving a point, I can move a point along a vector and it will end up in a new location. If I translate a shape, then I'm moving all the vertices in a directed direction and a given distance. So that's how we get this directed line segment, which is a vector. So when I look at A and A prime here on this slide, A was translated by a vector, vector T, and the result was A prime. So in order to clear this up and make it make sense for you, let's do a couple of translations. So we'll use this same triangle that we've been using before. So if I want to perform a translation, I could translate either a point or I could translate a shape along a particular vector. So in this example here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move, or I'm going to translate triangle ABC along the directed line segment AC. So in order to do that, I would have to use my translation tool, which is the arrows here where it shows you translating a point. So I'm going to translate this triangle from A to C. And as you can see, the result is triangle A prime, B prime, C prime. So what happened here is it moved the whole triangle the distance of vector AC. So it went in the same direction as that particular line segment, and it moved that distance. Now, one thing that we need to notice, and we need to make sure that we understand, is that when we move a line segment along a vector, the resulting line segment should be parallel to the original. So if I was to look at line AB and I looked at line A prime, B prime, we should notice that these lines end up being parallel. Okay, that result is going to be the same if I was looking at a line through BC. The same thing would happen with B prime, C prime. We end up with parallel lines. And then obviously if we move a line segment along that particular vector, what's going to happen is we'll end up with the same line segment, the same length, at a distance, whatever that vector is. One of the other things that we can do is we can show a translation along any of these line segments. We could translate that triangle wherever we wanted. So if I wanted to translate this triangle along vector BC, obviously it moves it up at the angle that BC was at. Now, another thing that you will notice later on in some activities is that I could have a line segment that is, say, over here. Oops, I selected the wrong tool. My apologies. A line segment that is DE. And I could use that as my vector. I could say that I wanted to translate triangle ABC along vector DE. And as you can tell, it moves the triangle that direction. Well, I could also translate it going the other way. I could translate this triangle go along vector ED, and which puts it down over here. So this is translations, and so when we are talking about translating a figure, we have to make sure that we use correct terminology when we describe it. So, in other words, if I was to translate triangle ABC along vector DE, notice that I'm putting the letters in the correct order. I'm translating along vector DE, starting at D, ending at E. And so that will be critical for you to be able to do in your lessons. So I've written it out in words for you. Translated triangle ABC along vector DE. If I didn't want to use vector, I could say along line segment DE. But here, once again, I'm going to stress the importance of making sure the letters are in correct order. They have to be in correct order. DE. If I said ED, this would be incorrect. ED would not be correct at all. That would be totally incorrect. If you have any questions on transformations, please send me a message in Teams, or better yet, book an appointment with me, and I'll help you in whatever way I can. As always, have a good day.